History is often shaped by deliberate decisions, yet some of the most significant changes have come about from simple human errors. From overlooked time zones to poorly locked gates, the world as we know it is a result of missteps that have altered the course of nations and empires. Here are some of the most impactful historical mistakes, where unintended actions and unforeseen outcomes led to lasting consequences still felt today. Number 10. Christopher Columbus's miscalculated voyage. Italian explorer Christopher Columbus made a navigational error when he set out to reach Asia in 1492, believing the Earth was much smaller than it actually is. His calculations, based on a mix of existing estimates and personal beliefs, underestimated the Earth's circumference. Instead of reaching Asia, Columbus landed in the Bahamas, unaware he had encountered an entirely separate continent. His journey, initially funded by Spain to find new trade routes, marked the beginning of European exploration and colonization of the Americas. Though his actions had severe consequences for indigenous populations, Columbus's mistaken voyage set the stage for an era of exploration that transformed global interactions and economies. Number 9. A language misinterpretation may have led to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In the summer of 1945, with Germany defeated, the Allies demanded Japan's unconditional surrender. Japanese Prime Minister Kentaro Suzuki responded using the term mokusatsu, which could mean no comment or ignore. The Allies interpreted this response as a refusal to surrender, viewing it as defiance. In response, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August, killing approximately 200,000 people. Although Japan was already weakened, the attacks forced Japan's surrender, effectively ending World War II. Had there been a clearer understanding of Suzuki's message, history might have taken a less tragic path, potentially sparing the lives lost in these devastating bombings. Number 8. A wrong turn and the start of World War I. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914 is widely recognized as the event that triggered World War I. The Austro-Hungarian heir was visiting Sarajevo, and during the visit, narrowly escaped an assassination attempt. Later, his driver took a wrong turn down a street where Gavrilo Princip, one of the plotters, was coincidentally standing. Princip seized the opportunity, fatally shooting the Archduke and his wife. The assassination set off a chain reaction, with Austria-Hungary declaring war on Serbia, eventually dragging the great powers into a global conflict. This seemingly minor error, a wrong turn, escalated into a war that reshaped political boundaries, decimated empires, and altered the course of history. Number 7. Hitler's invasion of Russia proved catastrophic. In 1941, despite signing a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union, Adolf Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest military invasion in history, against the Soviet Union. Hitler believed conquering Soviet territories was essential for Lebensraum, living space, and a buffer against communism. However, the German forces were unprepared for the harsh Soviet winter, and Soviet forces implemented scorched earth tactics, depriving Germans of supplies. This prolonged invasion stretched Nazi forces thin and inflicted heavy casualties, with over 500,000 soldiers lost in one winter alone. Ultimately, Hitler's decision drew the Soviet Union into an alliance with the Allies, significantly tipping the scales in World War II and leading to Germany's defeat. Number 6. A misinterpreted press conference accelerated the fall of the Berlin Wall. In 1989, East and West Germany were divided by the Berlin Wall, symbolizing the larger divide between the Communist East and the Democratic West. On November 9, East German official Günter Schabowski held a press conference to announce new regulations allowing East Germans to travel. However, he had not reviewed the full details and mistakenly implied that the border would open immediately, rather than after an application process. This miscommunication led thousands to gather at the Berlin Wall, demanding passage. The unprepared guards, unable to manage the overwhelming crowd, eventually allowed people to cross. This event hastened the fall of the Berlin Wall and marked a significant moment in the end of the Cold War, ultimately leading to German reunification. Number 5. Russia's decision to sell Alaska. In the 19th century, Russia controlled a vast territory in North America, Alaska. However, after suffering financial strain from the Crimean War, 1853 to 1856, Russia struggled to support this distant colony. Alaska's remote location and lack of development made it difficult to defend, and Russia feared losing it to British Canada without compensation. Consequently, in 1867, Russia sold Alaska to the United States for $7.2 million, about 2 cents per acre. At the time, the transaction seemed reasonable. However, Alaska's subsequent discoveries of gold, oil, and other resources made it a valuable asset. Had Russia retained Alaska, the Cold War could have played out differently, with Russia having a presence on the North American continent. This sale is now seen as one of the most strategically significant misjudgments in Russian history. Number 4. Rommel's absence on D-Day. The Allied invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944, known as D-Day, was one of the largest and most critical operations of World War II. The Allies intended to establish a foothold in Nazi-occupied France, which would ultimately allow them to push German forces back. German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, known for his expertise in defensive strategy, was responsible for guarding the Atlantic Wall, the fortifications along France's coast. However, Rommel took leave to celebrate his wife's birthday, convinced that poor weather conditions made an invasion unlikely. His absence on D-Day deprived the German forces of his experienced leadership at a crucial moment, reducing their ability to respond effectively to the massive Allied assault. This strategic error contributed to the Allies' success in establishing a critical front in Western Europe, hastening the end of Nazi occupation. Number 3. An unlocked gate spelled the fall of Constantinople. In 1453, Constantinople, the Byzantine Empire's last stronghold, faced an overwhelming siege by the Ottoman Empire led by Sultan Namdaya. Known for its strategic location and fortified walls, the city had withstood numerous previous attacks. However, a small error changed everything. Amidst the chaos, a lesser-known gate, the Kirkaporta, was left unlocked, allowing a group of Ottoman soldiers to enter undetected. These soldiers raised the Ottoman flag, signaling a breach and causing panic among the defenders. Although the Ottomans' advanced weaponry and numbers likely would have eventually overpowered Constantinople, the unlocked gate hastened the city's fall. The collapse of Constantinople marked the end of the Byzantine Empire, solidified Ottoman power, and symbolized a pivotal shift from the medieval to the modern era in Europe. Number 2. Alexander Fleming's accidental discovery of penicillin. Alexander Fleming's 1928 discovery of penicillin transformed medicine, but it was initially a fortunate accident. While researching Staphylococcus bacteria, Fleming left several Petri dishes unattended over a weekend. Upon his return, he noticed that a mold called Penicillium notatum had grown on one dish, killing the surrounding bacteria. Intrigued, Fleming tested the mold further and found it contained powerful antibacterial properties, eventually leading to the development of penicillin, the world's first antibiotic. This breakthrough drastically reduced the death toll from bacterial infections and saved millions of lives in subsequent decades. World War II saw the large-scale use of penicillin, marking it as a medical marvel. Fleming's mistake changed healthcare forever, laying the foundation for modern antibiotics and infection control. Number 1. Forgetting about time zones compromised the Bay of Pigs invasion. In April 1961, the United States attempted a covert operation to overthrow Cuban leader Fidel Castro, fearing his communist influence would spread throughout Latin America. Organized by the CIA, the Bay of Pigs invasion aimed to land Cuban exiles on the island to trigger a larger uprising. However, the plan unraveled due to various factors, one being a miscalculation with time zones. A key bombing mission was delayed because those involved failed to consider the 1-hour time difference between Nicaragua, where the planes were stationed, and Cuba. As a result, the bombers arrived without fighter escorts, leaving the invasion force exposed. This, along with a botched disguise on a U.S. bomber, which blatantly revealed American involvement, forced President John F. Kennedy to withdraw critical support, sealing the mission's failure and strengthening Castro's position. Thanks for watching. History shows us how even the smallest mistakes can have huge consequences. If you enjoyed learning about these monumental blunders that changed the course of history, please give this video a thumbs up and let us know in the comments which mistakes surprised you the most. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating historical deep dives. See you in the next video.